Okay, just to be very clear within myself is these episodes are not here for you to be informed. They're here for others to be introduced to these concepts, the truth basically, in a way that makes sense to them, and it's completely others' responsibility to make sense of it for themselves within these podcasts. The message is never there for you to kind of believe. It's just there for you to be able to reflect on what you've realized because of your ability to allow yourself to deepen your awareness through the knowledge that you remember when triggered, uh, or kind of like aligning back or connecting deeper within yourself, attaching to yourself, basically. In other words, deepening your self awareness. Okay. So this is the DP podcast. This is the Dark podcast. When you gaze into the abyss gazes back into you, and within the darkness, the light shines through all things. All right. The previous episode was about manipulating insanity because sanity is referring to your connection, your deeper connection with the Almighty God, which is your ancestors. And your ancestors are your spirits. Your spirits reside within your soul, which allows your soul to glow through your mind and your mind to shine through the abyss, which is darkness, or not necessarily the abyss, but the darkness itself. So throughout existence, or within your existence, nonetheless. Okay, so this why the fallen ones referred to in the previous episodes are very like salty per se is because they know that your your essence, your ability to create comes from your spirits. Okay, your power, your knowledge, your wisdom, your existence, your fluidity, your entire the things that you refer to as your attributes, your skills, all that stuff only is possible because of your spirits, because of your ancestors, because of the core of your soul. So they're not actually chasing your soul, but you have to get your soul out of the way in order for your spirits to connect in order for your spirits to be siphoned and harvested. So the harvest is about utilizing the creative source energy to manifest what they want, and that's why they are manipulators, because they are disconnected and they don't have the same kind of attachment to themselves due to the truth that they have now fallen. They have lost connection with the Almighty God, and that connection is so shallow that they're not able to tap into creative magic, creative source energy, okay, creative soul energy basically. And creative soul energy is spiritual soul energy, which is what you refer to as your key, your chi, you know what I'm saying, your source, your solar plexus. Okay, so they have a complete disconnection with that, which is why they reside in lower chakras like the solar plexus and the solar, not, oh, hold on, sacral chakra and the root chakra, which is why they attack those areas heavily, because they realize that due to the fact that they've fallen, they're at such a lower dimension, not a lower dimension, a shallower dimension actually, because there's no such thing as lower, and they're not able to tap in deep enough into their minds to access the core of their soul, which is where the Almighty God resides. So that connection is so dampened, so shallow, that it's like they have to use they have to manipulate someone who still has that connection to their creativity, which is why manipulators are not creative. They're not smart. They're not tricksters or none of that bullshit. They're not slick at all, because if they were, they would be able to find a way to creatively and inspirationally and as well as imaginatively not receive, but basically create what it is that they desire, what it is that they're willing to have for themselves, actually. And they're not, because they're not able to do that without their core, without their center, without their ancestors, because their ancestors are the one that provide that knowledge, that wisdom, that power. The essence of their soul comes from there, and without that they don't have any stamina. And if they have no stamina, they ain't no they it's like they're not able to put in any work type shit. Spirits don't put no work for them. No, they don't. The ones that they have are clones, synthetic, modified mutants. They're fallen spirits. So those spirits don't have any they don't have any power. They don't have any knowledge. They don't have any wisdom. So there's nothing to create from. You dig? So those abilities that you have within you are what allows you to create, because your sanity, your essence, your innocence, the Almighty God is still connected and still very deeply within you, in your depth, in your deepness within your self-awareness, basically. In other words, your deep attachment within yourself is what allows you to connect deeper and deeper with the Almighty God, which is what allows you to create what you refer to as quicker and faster and faster and faster and faster, and they're not able to do that. And this is the difference between the fallen ones and the ones who haven't fallen. Okay, those who are working with the Almighty God or in connection with the Almighty God, and those who are not, is that your ability to connect so deeply within yourself is that you can tap into all the creative energy you want, all the creative magic you want, all the creative aspects of the mind, all the what you refer to or believe to be referred to as the higher dimensions, whereas they're not able to. They're only in what you refer to or believe to be called the lower dimensions, which are like the surface level of the mind. Okay, because you can believe it to be called like the layers of it, even though they're all one. If you don't have like an imaginative concepts or an idea of what it appears to be like, for example, it's like layers of an onion. It's like that. They're not able to get to the core, or an apple, so they're not able to touch the seed. The seed is the soul, but what's within that seed is what actually grows out of the seed or becomes the tree, which is your ancestors, which is why that is also known as the tree of life, tree of wisdom. You get it? They don't eat from that tree. They eat from the tree of destruction, tree of death, which is why they have to harvest and siphon the tree of life, because they're only able to access destructive energy, destructive magic, which is also known as demonic magic, which is form of demonic magic. And demonic magic is basically fallen, just very very basic magic that anyone can access in a lower, what you believe to be called a lower dimension, which is just a shallower part of the mind or aspect of the mind or dimension within the mind. Okay, because all dimensions reside within the mind, and each dimension, going deeper, is just another doorway into a deeper realm within the mind, because all realms exist within the mind as well, because the realm is the reality that exists within the mind, and dimensions are just densities, and density is basically just phases of matter, which you refer to as solid, which is just crystalline, liquid, gas, plasma, ether, and then you have light, and then darkness, and etc. etc. There's other forms, of course, but it appears to be going into light and then darkness, because those phases, well, it would be light and then gray and then darkness, because there's light matter, gray matter, dark matter. So yeah, anyways, transmute and alchemize and never demonize thyself.